OME.com. Good Tuesday morning, mostly sunny skies. Today, a few scattered clouds from time to time. Temperatures in the low to mid-20s. Light winds from the northeast. Partly cloudy overnight, 13 to 19 for the low. Wednesday should be partly to mostly sunny, highs around 35. And it'll be in the mid-20s, colder again Thursday, partly to mostly sunny. And it looks like it'll be near 30 with sunshine for Friday. Your life, your music, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Iran's supreme leader says the country's enemies have been responsible for stirring up protests that have been ongoing for 6 days. South Korea says it's willing to hold high-level talks with North Korea next week. Gunmen have killed at least 16 people in an attack on a New Year service at a church in southern Nigeria, according to officials. And Belgium may drop its terror alert to its lowest point since before the Paris attacks in 2015, according to the country's Home Affairs Minister.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday to you. It is very chilly outside, so I hope that you are bundled up. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Quabila Harden, and my special guest today is Mr. Harold McKinney from Grace Mission Bible Training Center in Paragould, Arkansas. Good morning, Mr. Harold.
Good morning, and thank you very much for letting me be on.
It is a pleasure to have you here. You have been here several times, so we're not going to go into the full background of Grace Mission. If anyone would like to know more information, they do have a website, Facebook page, and do you have a website as well?
Yes.
They do. It's www.missionteens.com.
Yes.
And so Grace Mission Bible Training Center is a derivative of Mission Teens
Yes.
Incorporated. Okay, so give us some recap on the facility and the services that you offer.
All right. We have been there for about 12 years, and we're part of, I think it's 19 centers. The first one started almost 50 years ago. And the program itself has not changed because it works. And because God is in the program. It is an 8 to 10 month residential program. One of the most attractive things about it initially to people is it's free.
Okay.
We house, feed, clothe, whatever is needed, and it's a faith program. It's based on the Bible. It's non-denominational, and then we are dependent. It's a faith program in that we're dependent upon God putting on people's hearts, or businesses or individuals, to fund us.
Okay.
We don't get denominational or governmental funding, although we do get funding from some churches will fund it, and it's a very regimented program.
Okay.
There's certain amounts of certain times that we do different things in the morning. Of course, obviously in the morning we have breakfast, but you have to get up at a certain time and be there at a certain time. And in the mornings there's 3 classes that they'll go to, as well as reading and then counseling.
Okay.
of the residents. And we have wonderful, I mean, I am a little biased, teachers from the community, different churches that come in, and I've been there for over 6 years, and some of them have been coming since before I was there.
Oh, wow.
And they are truly inspired. And they teach on specific books in the Bible, so they can get a foundation, particularly in the New Testament. But we also do a general coverage of the Old Testament.
Okay.
and then in the afternoons we have a couple of hours of work projects that where we are. It used to be a Baptist church campground, and we've got about 17 buildings, I believe, and it was built in the 70s, so there's repair work to be done.
Okay.
And they again learn. They learn so much there, just in I don't want to say practical stuff, but all the practical stuff has spiritual lessons in the back of it.
Okay.
And under it. And then that we have there's 5.5 hours of class or Bible study devotions a day, and then the evenings we have an hour and a half of devotions. The first half hour is praise and worship, and then again different people from the community come and do preach that night. Sometimes it's staff, but it's mostly people again from the community.
Okay. So just like any other nonprofit, you rely heavily on the support from the community.
100%.
Yes, and so can anyone that is considering volunteering or being a sponsor, can they come out to view the facilities?
We so welcome people to come out there. Probably be a little better if they called us,
okay.
But I'll jump up and show them, because I'm pleased, proud, whatever of what happens there, and we want as many people in the area to know about us as possible.
Okay. All right, and so that's why we're happy that you come here to share the information about the facility, so more people can know what you offer. I was looking through some of your pictures, and I know we've talked before about once individuals come to the facility, they have to go through different phases.
Right.
In the first several months, they're not allowed, family visits,
right.
just due to how you have your curriculum set up and your program set up. You're trying to deal with them in their addiction or whatever led them to get to where they are.
Right.
To this place. So first they have to work through some steps, working on themselves,
right,
and then they can earn privileges too.
Exactly. Yeah, the first 2 months they now they can write and receive letters from immediate family members, but there's no visits or phone calls. We want them to focus with as few distractions as possible on the Word, and again, not to be distracted by things. And probably their family needs a little bit of break from them anyway. But and then after and that's what we call the probationary period, and they have very light duties. Again, just so they can focus on the Lord. And then in the second phase of the program, they're given a little bit more responsibility. They can on the weekend typically they can get visits that are pre-approved, because the program is very protective of the residents, and to making sure that it's immediate family. And then in the third phase of it, more privileges, which can be, they're used as a discipline tool also, because they are privileges and can be pulled. And they can get to go home the weekend, and then we send a counselor with them to make sure it is a safe environment for them.
Okay.
And sometimes not often, but sometimes it's like, this is not good for you.
Okay.
And they end the visit. Then the second time, because they get a weekend off once a month after they've been there for 4 months, 1 weekend a month, yeah. And then if it's approved, then they can go back, to that home without a counselor. But again, extremely protective of them. Like the teachers that come out, go through Donna Carlin. She's one of the two people over the program, and she and her husband have been in the program, I think, for 32 years.
Okay.
And again, I want part of the reasons that the program is free, none of the staff are paid.
Okay.
So again, and then in the fourth phase of the program, they're what we call a training counselor, and almost exclusively, any two residents can't be around each other without a counselor there.
Okay.
And parts of what they're doing is monitoring, even though it sounds like Big Brother a little bit, but they're monitoring what they're talking about, because we don't like, well, I shouldn't say don't like, they can't talk about like worldly movies or worldly music.
Okay.
And again, that's a little strict, but to keep their focus on potentially unhealthy worldly items, and in this sort of cocoon time, so they can, develop a relationship with the Lord.
And obviously, if they've made it past phase 1, they have a desire to be there and to learn more and to get a connection with God and make a turnaround in their life. So it's not like you're holding them there against their will.
No. Now, no one has to stay. Now, our usual process is if they want to leave, they turn in a request to leave, what we call it, 24-hour leave. So they've got 24 hours. Usually when somebody wants to leave, they're aggravated or upset about something. And it gives them time to sort of, sort through that or calm down. And no one, and it's good that they know that they can leave.
Okay.
But so they know that they're deciding to stay.
Okay.
It's their decision. Of course, we don't want anybody to leave, but and we certainly counsel with them and talk to them if they've turned in their 24-hour. It's just never good, for them to leave unfinished, and usually the reason they leave is an issue that they have, and pride's a big one.
Yes, it is. First, they have to recognize they have an issue. I know we've talked before about some people, are they court ordered?
Some people are. Some people, like me, were life ordered.
Okay. Life decided. Obviously, though, something happened within you to say, okay, what I'm doing is not working, so I need to make a change in my life and do something different.
Right.
And so you decided to take the steps necessary to turn your life around. And so I'm guessing you've run across many others that have made that that have made the choice without the court forcing them to make the choice, that what I'm doing is not working, and I want to be a better wife, husband, son, daughter, whatever, to whoever's out there waiting for me. So we do want to get into some testimonies, and I'll talk about some of the good and maybe some bad, of course, without giving away any personal information.
Sure.
But we would love to hear these stories of the people you have encountered in your time there. And then, get into your testimony of how going through the program has really helped you get to where you are and not even have a desire to go back.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the... before we get into the testimonies, though, I want to back up. It's been a while since you've been here.
Right.
And last time you were here, I think it was getting ready to get warm. You all had a garden, and we're getting ready for a garden, and there were some animals on the property as well. So tell us more about the chores. You mentioned about repairs on the facility, but what are some of the other chores that the residents engage in?
Well, we have a vegetable garden there, and even though this may seem very simplistic, many people have never worked, and depend upon others, and I'm not trying to make it sound like over elevate it, but the garden, manning it, taking care of it, watching it grow, eating the produce from it, and of course, that specific thing, to know how to do it, and they may do it themselves, but it's a task that they can complete. All of I'll come back to what you're asking. All of us are runners. When it got difficult, we would run into the addiction. When it got too tough and we didn't want to face it, we would run. And many people never completed anything. And in this, the satisfaction of doing a good job.
Okay.
But also there's everything is, almost everything is self-contained. Like the kitchen, the residents prepare all the meals. They make the menu with guidance, and it's a great tool in that many people have never cooked for 50 plus people, and sometimes it gets stressful, which is just sort of built in, so they can learn, get to the end of themselves and call up on God. They'll pray before they get started. Sometimes they'll stop and pray when it's like, oh, I don't know how this is going to work. And actually we eat very well, but if they burn something, no one dies, and to learn to trust Him in the small things.
Okay. What I'm hearing is they're learning discipline, self-discipline. You have to be just thinking about raising a garden. I lived in a rural area, grew up in a rural area, and you had to be disciplined. You had to get up at a certain time, man the garden. Things had to be planted at a certain time of the year, harvested at a certain time, or it was ruined. So they're learning discipline that can carry over into their everyday life.
Yes.
That I have to set some priorities, put things in order, keep a schedule. When it comes to cooking, you have to follow a recipe. So that's discipline as well. I can't just do whatever I want whenever I want it, or something's not going to come out right. So as with cooking, you put too many of one ingredient in, it could ruin the whole dish. As in life, you do too much or indulge in too much of one thing, it can throw your life off balance.
That's an excellent analogy.
And so, like you said, and I love how you said, they're learning also how to trust God in the small things in life. If we just take a moment to just stop and breathe and reassess the situation, we might make some better and different choices versus just flying off the handle and reacting out of our emotions.
Right.
So that's wonderful that you're teaching. They may not realize in the beginning they're learning all of these skills, but it will come back to them when they leave the facility and get it back into some type of normal routine of life.
Well, I think it's like that movie Karate Kid, that wax on, wax off, where he was, he thought he was just learning how to wax a car. And here, he was learning, how to do all the moves. And here, it's at the mission, it's the same thing. You think you're just learning this, but there's a lot more stuff in it than that. And what you said about discipline is critical. You can't just, I can't just do as I please and then expect everything to work, to work out for me. And when they apply to come into the mission, the two things we ask them is, one, are you willing to seek Christ to answer your problems? Okay. And are you willing to follow the program, the discipline of the program?
That's awesome. So obviously they said yes and yes to that, so they chose to stay there.
Yes.
Now, one thing I see, even though the services are free, you do require that they have at least $50 set aside, so that when they get ready to leave, they can get a bus ticket to wherever they need to go.
Right. There's a transportation fee that they have to provide to get them back to either to the bus station or to their home if they're from around here, like in Jonesboro.
Okay.
And they have to get some blood tests. Before they have to get blood tests before they come in the program. We don't need the results because the results really won't matter. We just we're required to get them. And if there's some things that they have that they can't work with the food, but aside from that, no blood result is going to keep them from coming in.
Alrighty, so and we just also want to mention that you have facilities or mission centers in a lot of different
Yes.
states. And then there's another one here in Arkansas out in Marktree.
Right.
So do the residents from Paragould get to fellowship with the individuals from Marktree?
Rarely.
Okay.
We will sometimes, like on, I think the 4th of July, we've got a ball field, and sometimes we'll invite there's 2 or 3 other missions that sometimes we'll invite them to come down,
Okay.
and we will either house them, or if it's close like Marktree, they'll come for the day. And so they'll play ball and fellowship together, and it's great for them to meet people from other missions,
Okay.
and to it's just sort of share perspectives, because it is the same program, and just to meet others so you don't feel quite as isolated.
Okay.
But yeah, we do not a lot, but we do.
Alrighty, so we're coming up on our break here in a little bit, but I do want to tell everybody, if you would like to see more information, go to www.missionteens.com, or go to their Facebook page, which is Grace Mission Bible Training Center. You can see all the wonderful pictures and some other information that's posted on their page concerning the residents. I see that you all did it really big for Christmas.
Yes.
And the residents put on a play.
Yes.
So did they write and direct and do all of that?
Well, not the Thanksgiving play. They do that. The Christmas play is a play that's
Okay.
centered play. And then we have one at Easter, which is also a play that's it's already written. But yeah, Thanksgiving, it's different skits, and they are very talented.
Okay.
Because you can imagine the stories we've told in the past. So we're very creative and great actors.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Why is home the hardest place to lead? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. It's tough to lead at the office. You have constant HR headaches, cash flow issues, and operational problems, just to name a few. But it's a lot tougher to lead at home. Why? First, you can't fire your children. You're a parent forever, no matter what your children say or do. Second, there is no paid or unpaid time off. You are always on the job, 24/7, doing their laundry, helping with homework, carpooling them to school, practice, and games. Third, there are no salaries, bonuses, or raises. As a parent, you are more like a constant ATM. Remember, your family first.
The Family Minute, helping families love well.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Craighead County Clerk Cade Holliday hopes that you and your loved ones will enjoy the special gifts of this Christmas and holiday season. The gift of love, the gift of peace, the gift of happiness. Christmas and the holidays are not only a time for spreading a message of cheer and goodwill, but also a time to say thank you to the citizens of Craighead County. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you from Craighead County Clerk Cade Holliday.
The key to making this station even better could be parked in your driveway right now. Donate your old car to us, you'll get a tax deduction, and we'll tow it away for free.
Go to klekfm.org for more information.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Quabila Harden, along with my very special guest, Mr. Harold McKinney, who is from the Grace Mission Bible Training Center out in Paragould, Arkansas. It is a residential facility for those that are battling, most of
them are with addiction, but it's any emotional problems, any life challenging things like anger, really anything that's life controlling.
Okay. And so this program is very disciplined, and they have to go through several phases. And at the end, hopefully they have learned enough and a lot. They have taken in enough life skills and that they can apply to their life outside of the facility. So here I go. Okay. I would love to hear some of the testimonies of people that have come through the center. First, I want to ask, though, do people ever come back, say, months later and say, I really appreciate you? Or do they write you letters or cards?
Absolutely. And then some come back, like this past weekend, one of the past graduates came and did a part of a devotions that night, and it's great for the residents to hear from somebody, quote unquote, on the other side who have gone through the program and have gone back out into the world. And there's a number of them in the area that come back and come and visit to be supportive and be connected. But yeah, there's many people that are grateful for what God has done for them through Grace Mission. Of course, and it's not Grace Mission that does it. It's not me that does it. God does it.
And the people have to have a desire to want to do and be better for this to even work, period.
Yes.
I mean, yes, God is available to us, but He's not going to force Himself upon you. So you have to have a desire to meet Him and seek Him and invite Him in to start the work, start the process.
Absolutely. Well, like myself, now I'd had 3 relapses in my life. Okay. Most of my life was in sobriety. And I, this last time I knew what to do. I just couldn't do it.
Okay.
And I don't think that most people come in going, I want to be closer to God. It's just, I am desperate. I've tried everything, and I'm willing to try this. I mean, there's certainly some people that have been active in church, but in this issue, they had, they had not surrendered to the Lord. On some people who knew nothing about the Bible, but again, they were desperate and willing to try. There's very few people that, I can't imagine anybody really, that just sort of casually think, well, I might have an issue here. I think I'll spend the next 8 months trying to, to deal with it, or intellectually come to that. It's usually a desperation, yes, which is great, because God can works with us better when we're desperate, when we know that we're empty, and He can have and we'll let Him come in and rearrange things. It's when we think we bring in something to the table, or that we know better, that it makes it more difficult for Him.
Yes, there's some people who feel like, I got it all under control, I'm good, but we have to allow ourselves those broken moments, to have those broken moments. Whether you're facing an addiction or not, you have to allow yourself to get to a low place, because that's where God can lift you up. And I'm not going to get into a sermon, I'm not a minister, but I know a little bit about being broken, and God allowing things to happen in your life, yes, to get your attention. Yes. Like, okay, it's almost like when someone takes you and shakes you, it's like God has a way of shaking you to yes, your core. And for some of these individuals that come to your program, unfortunately, they do suffer from addictions, from whatever substance, and they get to a point where they're just tired. Family may have ridden them off. Children, if they have children, they have caused some harm in some kind of way, and they had a eye-opening, life-altering moment that's, okay, I gotta do something different.
Yes.
This is not working. So we're grateful that your facility is available to them, and there are, other facilities as well. So we're just grateful that you are there to help those in need. All right, so let's get into some of the testimonies of individuals that have come through the program.
Well, there's, of course, been many parents, and in addiction, there's there's controlling things that we're in slavery to, like addiction, but there's many others, and parents that did not want to be in an environment that harmed their children, but they really had no choice because they were in slavery. So many of us think that we can control things, and we have to get broken to realize I can't control it.
That's right.
And of course, there's tremendous amounts of self-guilt, and the only escape prior that they know of is to end their addiction, which can offer them an escape for a little bit, but after a while, they're just miserable, and it's countless stories of mothers and fathers where the children are pleased and proud of them. Sometimes it takes a while because some of those wounds are very deep, but they're like I think I've shared. Our last Thanksgiving meal, usually Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, the families can come and visit, and there were so many families there, and of course they want to forgive most of them, but again, some of them, it's pretty deep, and it'll just takes time. There's certainly some extremely sad. This one young man, his parents were addicts. And also, you really feel for, particularly when the parents, I don't want to say through fault of their own, but they're in that slavery also. And he said, they would get Christmas gifts, but they knew they wouldn't have them long because the parents would take them and pawn them and sell them. And somewhere this one young girl, her mother would prosecute her. For the cable bill, when the cable man came, that wasn't around here. But the horrendous things that happened, that, in my way of looking at it, which that's all it is, if they didn't have the Lord in their life, they'd have to have drugs or something just to be able to escape some of the horrible things that had happened to them.
So the individuals that share their stories and that have experienced or done these horrible things, have they had, by the end of the program, do they have a moment of, I want to say reckoning, that's not the real word I'm looking for, but a moment where they are truly resentful of the things that they have done?
Well, hopefully, most of them right off the bat.
Okay.
That were, regret. Of course, Satan tries to get them to condemn themselves, and most of them, really are broken and very sorrowful. Now, resentment for others can sometimes particularly like a parent.
Okay.
Because they have. I'm not saying they have to forgive them before they graduate, but they have to forgive them, period, or they're in bondage to that. And like I said, we do counseling. They get counseling session once or twice a week. We do counseling logs. There's at the office keeps up with those and highlights particular points that they need to get past and forgive. And like the program is 8 to 10 months because some people need more time. Okay. I mean, they're not being punished, but some people need more time than others.
Sir. Now, during the time that they're there, do they also, those that don't have any job skills, are they offered the opportunity to learn some type of trade?
Oh, well, yes. Whether they want it or not.
Okay.
Yes. And yes, that's part of it. And part of it, I mean, it's not like job training center.
Okay.
But for them to learn the confidence that they can do some things that they were afraid. I mean, many of them are, have been put down, afraid of failure, and we push them to complete things that they can do, and it's okay if they mess up because without failure, there's no success. I mean, you can't learn without failure because I already know how to do what I'm successful at.
Okay.
It's important for them to get out of their comfort zone.
Okay.
Because coming to the Lord, you've got to get out of your comfort zone.
Yes, you have to be willing to be open and exposed, and
yes, yes,
and face some of those things that you thought you could hide under the rug. No, it doesn't work like that.
But they do learn confidence in the skills that God gave them that they can do, that they just didn't. They were afraid, and even those, it may sound pretty simple or lame on some of the tasks, but but they take pride, in a good sense, in the reward in the things that they can accomplish. But they have to push themselves. Okay. They have to discipline themselves. We discipline, but they really have to discipline themselves.
And do they have access to, say that like here in Jonesboro we have, it's called Workforce now. Do they have access to one of those facilities in Paragould or wherever, in Paragould, somewhere where they can go maybe start looking for jobs? Once they're getting close to the end of their program, they can start putting applications and getting help with how to build a resume and things of that nature.
Now the resume thing, they certainly can. We do not make connections.
Okay.
Simply, I think they tried that sometime in the past. I can't remember if it's at Grace or not. But we don't know what the Lord has for them.
Okay.
So I think we were sort of spanked, and God said, "This is what you do. I'll take care of it when they leave."
Alrighty then. All right. So of course, with anything good, there has to be some bad. So have you had individuals from your time there that either one did not complete the program, or two went through the whole program then fell back into some of their old ways?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's a number of people that don't complete it. I don't know the percentage. It's better if they did.
Okay.
Because they make a commitment to God, not to us.
Okay.
When they come in, and they break that, if they break that commitment, God does not send lightning bolts after them. But they walked out of that covenant.
Okay.
And His hands are not as protective, around them. And pride is usually the thing that walks them out. Like I said, we do that 24-hour thing so that they can think about it. But it's usually a pride. Whatever their strongest rebellion thing is usually what walks them out. Okay. Now and probably you, I've done some things which I knew were wrong, but my pride, I couldn't contain my pride.
Yes.
And there certainly are some people that for whatever reason have completed the program, and I don't know exactly, but it could be that they didn't get the personal relationship. I think that they always do, but sometimes they don't want to be under authority. Now, when you leave the mission, you've got to get right back under spiritual authority in hopefully a church that understands that and put themselves under it. For whatever reason, yes, it does happen, and we have what we call repeaters that have come back, and we're very grateful to see them. Certainly sorry that whatever happened, but whatever happened could happen to any of us. So there's zero judgment, unless we want to judge ourselves on what could happen to us. And they will come back because they know that the answer is there. Okay. I mean, I know myself when I came in, I thought, I just need to be locked up with a Bible. And I got more than that, but I couldn't trust myself. I could not drink. And I needed to be in a place that it was not easy to do that. And there are, and I'm not even going to call them failures. When Peter was walking on the water, he took his eyes off Jesus and started, and sunk. And then he called out to the Lord, and it says immediately the Lord helped him. And we all sink. Yes. But to know how to get out of to keep from drowning, we have to know what to do. And the worst thing is to give up.
Okay.
To run.
So these individuals, they have to have a certain level of willpower as well. They have to decide at some point in their life, I have got to do something different. Right. And I have got to work harder. My desire to want better has to be greater than the failure.
Right. And surrender.
Okay.
Surrender to the Lord. Surrender to the program that the Lord put there. Now, if a bunch of us just got together and came up with this program, I wouldn't be as adamant. The founder, who just died a few years ago, he had a church a prayer time at his house for I think a couple years, and he tried a program sort of like Moses, thinking it's time for me to free the Egyptians, and it wasn't time. and then one night, God gave him the program, and so he started it, and it's become a success. So we don't change things.
Okay.
And if I had a point, I forgot what it was.
It's okay. So what has been the feedback from the community? Was there some opposition, or has there ever been opposition from your experience to having that type of facility in the city?
Well, now I wasn't there when it came in. Now we don't go into an area that does not ask us to.
Okay.
And of course, I mean, I know different ones where there's opposition because it's kind of, I'll say, funny that a community would not want that there because they're thinking, well, you've got all these addicts and crazy people there, and but they're there instead of out on the streets doing and there's a where we are, we're in a neighborhood, not it's not like right next door, and I'm acquainted with lots of them, and they're very supportive.
Okay.
Of it. I don't know of opposition to it, but what I'm aware of is support. Now it's kind of funny. I saw on Facebook or something some time ago and there were some negative things on there, and from bias. But it was funny that somebody, I don't even know what they were doing there, but came while we were doing a baptism. But they described, said everybody was dressed in black and they were doing some sort of water ritual. And I thought, how could you not know that was a baptism?
Okay. And see, that's how rumors get started. That's how misinformation gets passed. That's how things get twisted and tainted. Yeah. And it doesn't take but a few passes around word of mouth, and the story changes over and over before it just gets so out of hand.
Well, I'm sure we've been accused of being a cult.
And
and of course, like you said, the negativity's out there.
Okay. All right, so we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to follow up with, I know you all have like a store, secondhand store, and a few, you have bake sales and other things along the way. So we'll highlight that when we come back. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Home ownership is an important factor in the capacity to build wealth, but there will be times in your life when renting just makes more sense. However, without smart planning, you could wind up spending more than you could afford and hurting your credit. Here's what to do. No matter who the landlord is, get a rental agreement. This lays out both parties' rights and obligations and is an essential aspect in regulating potential problems. Read the contract carefully, including the fine print, and ask questions about anything that's not clear. If you're not comfortable with the terms and conditions, it's better to pass and look for another place than to sign and be legally bound to the contract. Inspect your home carefully on the day you get your key and make a list of everything that's broken or damaged. Request that your landlord either repair the problems or sign off on the list. This way you can't be held responsible for these pre-existing damages when you move out. You should always have renter's insurance. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
For almost 3 years, KLEK 102.5 FM has brought you the music you love on your radio, on your computer, and on your phone. Now, we want to bring the music to your party, wedding, or any event. KLEK now offers DJ services for all occasions with over 22 years of DJ and broadcast experience. We can also announce your event on KLEK. Need a photographer for that special occasion? We got that covered too. Package deals available. Book us for DJ, photography, or for both for your event today. Call 870-203-9951 or look us up on social media at KLEK FM.
Karaoke and photo booths with a custom design of your event are also available.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com. Meineke of Jonesboro is now Starks Auto Service, a full-service auto repair and vehicle maintenance center, offering engine and transmission repair, brake service, tires, oil changes, and more, performed by ASE certified mechanics. The all-new Starks Auto Service, 2813 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro, 870-204-7112. Starks Auto Service, Jonesboro.com.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
KLEK 102.5 FM is giving you more praise. That's right, starting Wednesday, January 3rd, KLEK brings to you All Gospel Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 5 a.m. till 7 p.m. Enjoy all of your favorite gospel hits and get your praise on all day long with Cheryl Underwood Radio in the morning, Brother Cobbs during the day, and Hezekiah Walker to take you into your local church Bible study. Plus, the return of the KLEK Praise Break. Lift up your hands, rejoice, and praise Him all day, all Wednesday, every Wednesday on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Let us keep Christmas holding it close to our hearts, for its meaning never ends, and its spirit is the warmth and joy of remembering friends. Merry Christmas and every happiness in the new year from Craighead County Tax Collector Wes Eddington.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Kabila Hardin, and we are speaking with Mr. Harold McKinney from Grace Mission Bible Training Center in Paragould, Arkansas. And it is an 8 to 10 month residential facility for those that are not just suffering with addictions, but other emotional issues that they need some help from. Now, there are some restrictions and some stipulations. They're not, super serious, okay.
It's not cruelly strict, but it is strict.
Yes. So you have to, individuals that go through the program have to have a made up mind that they are willing to follow the rules and they are willing to go through this process, the different phases that the program offers. So, and they are free to leave at any time. If they decide this is just not what I'm ready for, not what I want, they are free to leave. That's okay. Those that have left, say within the first, just like 2 to 3 months, they decided to come back. Have you seen those come back?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And I know you talked earlier about pride can be the biggest thing.
It's sneakiest.
The number one thing that maybe turns some people away, make them want to leave. Do they come back more humble? Those that have come back.
Yeah, I think, I mean, on balance, yes. They either see that their way does not work, or they see how, as we used to, how silly and stupid the decision, the reason for the decision too. And it is kind of funny because, when I went into the program, they've got a disclaimer. Well, I didn't even read it because it didn't matter what it said. I knew it wasn't going to say walk naked down the street or anything, but it didn't matter what it said because I was going to sign it because I was willing to do anything. Now, usually as we get feeling better and all that, our ego, our pride will start taking some stuff back, and which is fine. In the program, for infractions, there are disciplines, and almost all of them are. There's different types of disciplines under certain categories, and they have to write sections of the Bible that relate to that. The core thing there. It's the surface thing. Almost doesn't matter, but it's what's under why they did it, so that they and the Lord can sort of root out the problem. And there's always the challenge, okay, do I want to do this a new way, or do I want to do it the way I've been doing it, which didn't work out?
So I'm presuming eventually they make a decision that my way didn't work.
Yes.
And so I need to try something different.
Yes.
All right then. So let's talk about some other ways that you all help to raise funds for the facility. You all, of course, are nonprofit, so we want to let everyone know that you are accepting donations.
Absolutely.
Sponsors, underwriters, or however anyone wants to help.
Any reason they want to send a check, yes.
All right. And so, but there are other ways that you get the residents involved.
Right.
You have yard sales.
Yes. We have one, I can't remember the dates, but it's the first Wednesday through Saturday of February. And it's an indoor yard sale. And I'm sure it's the only yard sale in that time of year. And we usually have another one a month later. And we've got all the typical yard sale stuff, but we also have a lot of things from the, I guess I can say, the Granger Company. There's things that are from Walmart, but it is more than just a typical yard sale.
Okay.
We always have tons of clothes, and of course all the regular knick-knack goodies.
Okay.
But we've got like chemicals and paints, and there's really a lot of useful, cool things that I don't know what they are, but I'm not mechanical. But
okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of wonderful things, and the prices are always real good.
Okay. And you said the first Wednesday through Saturday, which is February 7th through February 10th. So the 7th through the 10th. Be on the lookout for this yard sale at Grace Mission Bible Training Center in Paragould, Arkansas. And they're located at 732 Green 712 Road. So Greene County Road 712 in Paragould, Arkansas. And again, their website is www.missionteens.com. And the Grace Mission Bible Training Center is a derivative of the Mission Teens.
Yes.
Of Mission Teens, not the Mission Teens, of Mission Teens. The executive director is Stephen Schwartz, and the assistant executive directors are Paul and Donna Carlin.
Yes.
So if you would like to maybe set up a time to go visit the facility, you can reach them at 870-573-6414. And I will make sure to put this information on our Facebook page so that you can go out and visit this facility and become a sponsor or donor. Show your support in some type of way to the residents that live there. Maybe make some donations of items that they may need, because there's no cost to the residents at all.
Zero.
All they have to do is make sure they have their bus fare or travel expenses covered for when they do leave the program. All right, so this last 2 minutes, would you like to give any final thoughts, highlights of the program?
Well, I literally pray that people that are listening, most of us know somebody that needs some help, but keep an ear and eye tuned to somebody that's ready for help. You couldn't have told me anything when I wasn't ready, because I already knew it all. But if we go to different churches and do like some praise and worship and some testimonies. So if there's anyone out there that would like to come to the church, and we want people to know about us. And again, Jesus is the reason, but we are often desirable because it doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
And they can come in with naked, and I'm not advising that, but we've got clothing, we've got the toiletries, all donated. I mean, God, He is on time God.
So basically, come being ready to be healed and delivered from whatever whatever chains you're bound in.
Yes, and the world will change for you. The world will change for you.
Alrighty. So we thank you so very much, Mr. Harrell, for driving down and giving us your time today and sharing this information about the facility. So again, this is Grace Mission Bible Training Center located in Paragould, Arkansas. Please consider being a volunteer, a donor, a sponsor of this facility. They are non-profit and are you're tax deductible if someone wants to make a donation.
Absolutely.
Donations are tax deductible, so hey, you got time to get it in before you file your taxes this year. So we thank you so very much, and tomorrow's the first Wednesday of the month, and the chief will be here, Chief Rick Elliott from Jonesboro Police Department. So everyone have a great day, stay warm, and bundle up those babies and pets.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. A program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants.